The 5.7 live stream is in the books officially, and there's so much to go over, but the first things first, we're going to go to your Primogem codes because time sensitive, and here we go. Go to your account, go into redeem codes, and the codes are YourSpaceTime, YourSpaceTime. Hit it. And then the other two codes are actually ones that I already posted, and unfortunately I thought we were getting 500 Primogems. That would be my fault. So the codes are Master Skirk 0618. That works. And Void Star 0618 as well. That works as well. I thought we were getting 500 Primogems. That's my fault. Those two codes were literally put in hours before the live stream. But speaking of the live stream, and I will have those codes up for the entirety of this video, let's get to the live stream immediately. There was so much here that my brain was spinning. First things first, the spaceship that brought Lumine and Ether to Teyvat was mentioned. What? On top of that, we have the introduction to Skirk investigating one of the twins' abyssal corrosion, maybe? Don't know, that could be speculation. But on top of that, we got word in that Dahlia is a sword user, so Xingqiu might actually be in trouble here. On top of that, Dainsleif is here, and the monsters of Teyvat, lectors included, are prepping for an all-out war on Teyvat. With that, the Loom of Fate is working. And this means, does Lumine and Ether reunite? Like, there's so much here. Oh, it's insane. And topping all the good news, Dahlia, Moeka, and Skirk all hosted the live stream program, which was awesome to see in their chibi forms. Very cool. But now we get to Skirk. A lot of information was dropped on Skirk, and here it is. Skirk trained under the Surtalagi. Hope I said that right. Which was one of the 5 sinners from Kanuya. So yes, we're going to get a lot more lore dropped in her story quest, just like we got a lot of lore with Escaphier's story quest. So that's going to be in 5.7 too. But oddly enough, we find her in Liyue, and she plays the guitar? At least an instrument for sure. Kind of thing out of left field, but you know what? We're good with that. But the story quest goes after finding a strange power. Ether has, or Lumine, has strange nightmares, and only Skirk is the one that can cure it. So we're going to need to work together. That story quest is going to be pretty darn good. I get the feeling there's going to be a lot of lore from that. But dealing with Skirk, what about combat? Oh my days, did we get so much. Skirk's combat powers comes from the abyss, not a vision. That's a first time ever, but in a cryo-esque type way. Tapping E, the elemental skill, gives you a stamina bar for your abyssal energy. In this state, Skirk's normal, charged, and plunging damage deals cryo that cannot be overridden. This is seriously broken stuff right here. It can't be overwritten. That's nuts. It's also good to note that in this state, she increases her resistance to interruption and attack AoE. When cryo-related reactions get triggered, void rifts appear on the field, using charged attacks or your burst to absorb the voids. We have Abyss Voids out in Mondstadt, out in Teyvat. That's crazy. She also has a special elemental burst that increases her normal attack damage based on how many rifts she's absorbed. AKA, she's very broken. Topping that, holding your elemental skill, your E, allows Skirk to absorb all the rifts and can maneuver around quicker. So speed increase, rifts out in the middle of nowhere, kind of crazy stuff here. And it gets crazier because using Hydro and Cryo characters increases Skirk's abilities too. And if you have a team with nothing but Hydro and Cryo characters, the party's elemental skill level will be increased by 1. What? That's really dang good actually. And when in battle, Skirk's outfit changes as well. So yeah, Skirk is sounding like a very broken good character in Genshin. And if you have an Escoffier to pair with her, oh, you're really happy right about now. But now it's time for Dahlia. He is a sword user and his burst provides a hydro shield for the entire party. And for a time after his burst, Dahlia gains stacks by hitting enemies with normal attacks or triggering freeze reactions. So Dahlia with Skirk, with Ganyu, with Farina, that's sounding like a very broken team. Now when Dahlia's shield breaks, he consumes his stacks to bring back his shield. And this increases resistance to interruption, aka very good. He is a shielding sword hydro character. I'm good with that. But after unlocking a specific talent, Dahlia could boost attack speed of the on-field character, making them damage faster. That's very good. And topping that, bro's got a trampoline for his elemental skill. But still, that's not all. If an enemy comes in contact with his E, his elemental skill, Hydro explodes, dealing AoE damage. But if a party member hits Sacramental Shower, his E, the party member does the equivalent of a Sonic Spring. Boing! Up you go to avoid the attacks from enemies, allowing for plunging damage. So if you have Zhao, that could be very, very useful. But the odd thing here is, if Dahlia is in your party, all party members have a movement speed increase during the day. So not at nighttime in Genshin, during daytime, if you have Dahlia in your party, you run faster. Good? Sign me up. That's very handy. So yeah, Dahlia and Skirk, insanely good sounding. And it's time for the banners. Dahlia and Skirk will be on the first banner, but also with Shenhe. So it's just Cryo City Central here. So Skirk, Shenhe, Dahlia coming in with an added boost, with Skirk's signature weapon being featured for the weapon banner as well. That's sounding like a pretty darn good first banner. The second half of the banners are as followed. Moeka will be joining Emily as phase 2. Okay, that came out of scenic left field, but you know what? Cryo, a little bit of Hydro with Dahlia, Pyro Archon, and Emily with Dendro. That's going to be the banners wrapped up. But now it's time for the story content. So the Luma Fate is activated, and we don't know how to activate it. But it sounds like in this quest, we're going to find out. Adding to that, a strange NPC with purple abyss-colored eyes, definitely not looking like they're from Natlan, different clothing, they need our help. If the Abyss Order is out of Natlan, just ready to strike, our twin might have a new plan in store for us. Is it involving that new NPC? Could be. But with Moeka and all of our Natlan friends on high alert, in comes Dainsleith himself. And he looks playable, kind of. It sounds like that he's going to be in the party and he will be, you can activate his E, but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to actually play as him, but we are going to see gameplay of him. So that's going to be very, very crazy to see. So we're going to be facing the Abyss with Dainsleith, the man himself. That's going to be sounding like a really good event. Very good story. So now, the new events. Battle of Imaged Arrays. In Sumeru is a board game-like event, taking on opponents. And this event allows a new character to be acquired to the party. Sethos. There's 2 stories here. Desert and Forest, which means this is going to be the main event. Picture this event like Plants vs. Zombies, just with Genshin styling. Fungi, saurians, slimes, you get the idea. You can increase your creature's level and equipment and a few extras, but heads up, this game could be down to luck as well, as you might get hit with bad equipment too. So, Primogems, Plants vs. Zombies, and Genshin styling, and Sethos, it's gonna sound like a pretty darn good main event. Next up is Fearsome Ferocious Firepower, and say that 4 times fast, I dare ya. It's time to clear out monsters using a cannon. With several different types of ammo, this event looks like it's gonna be some seriously easy Primogems. Stress relief with a cannon. Good by me. Next up is Reminiscent Regime Frenzy, a teamworking event. We get to team up with other players in Genshin, queuing up in co-op to take on 3 stages, each of them being different. Each traveler picks their character, but choose wisely. You get buffs as well in the menu before taking down the enemies. Take on smaller objectives too boosts the entire party. The more stars you gain, the quicker you get your primogems, but don't coast your way to the finish line. Genshin have apparently upped the dire difficulty. So this could be an event where you could make some friends, take a look at some other characters that you may or may not have, and see how much damage they can do. So it could be a very good event. And topping that, there's a new permanent event, Stygian Onslaught. We get endgame stuff. We get to farm more artifacts freely and efficiently, and artifact customization items for free. Challenge consists of 3 phases, 5 levels of difficulty for each phase. Win and you get primos, artifacts, and items for targeted artifact enhancement. And you could pick and choose which artifacts you want. So if you want the Husk set, you get to choose that. If you want the Venti set, you get to choose that as well. You get to choose any one of them before starting. So that's kind of dang cool. The first 10 days after the event starts, if you beat the challenge at level 3 or higher, you can expend any kind of resin to claim your rewards. So either 20 original resin, condensed resin for 2 claims, fragile resin for 3 claims, and yes, you can co-op this challenge too. Kind of cool with this new event. You cannot co-op after 5 though, so or 5. So yeah. But topping the new artifacts, a new artifact enhancement is inbound. The Dust of Enlightenment. Oh my God, this is crazy. So say you have an artifact flower with crit rate, crit damage, ER, and defense percentage, and you rolled it to level 20, and all of it went into defense percentages. Yes, we've had that happen before. It's horrible when that happens. This item can change that. You can re-roll that artifact. You can choose 2 stats that you want prioritized, for instance, crit damage and crit rate. You could choose to keep them or roll for a new drop. And you can get this new Feather of Power 3 times per version for free. So 5.7, you're going to get it 3 times, but they will also be dropped in the Battle Path in the Gnostic Hymn and the Gnostic Chorus, 1 each. Topping that, we will receive 2 feathers for free from the in-game mail when 5.7 drops. And the event starts 8 days into 5.7. So if you have a really, really not rolled well type feather, type goblet, type flower, anything like that, might not want to get rid of it just yet, because it sounds like we're going to be able to try to re-roll that. But it's a very limited item, so heads up there as well. But that sounds very, very, very crazy. If you have 3 rolls into crit damage and 1 roll into defense, you can try to re-roll that into getting 4 of the crit damage. That's very crazy. Genshin trying to help you with artifacts. I like that idea. The next event is the Traveler's Tales Gilded Chapter. Traveler's Tales is back. They added it back. New memories to be made with old friends. Mondstadt, Fontaine, Inazuma, and so much more. Primogems at the ready, but who cares about the Primogems at this point, because we get all of our friends back that we get to just hang out with. Get a little bit more lore. Yes, Primogems is good. I'm happy getting Primogems. I'm happy seeing my buddies in our world again, being able to interact with us. So if you really like Yuri Miya and she just out of nowhere decides to come over to Mondstadt and take a look at the Windbloom Festival, that's really, really cool. So if your favorite character is coming in, that's really awesome. Yes, freaking please. And the devs have even said, quote, making Traveler's Tales a permanent event is in the works. End quote. That was a direct quote from one of the 3 hosting the live stream. Yeah, we did that. We made this happen. The community actively brought in our favorite characters back into Teyvat. Thank you everyone who wanted this to happen. Because you voiced that, the devs are now trying to make it a permanent thing. We get our characters back into Teyvat to interact with. I am so proud of y'all for making this happen. Well, happen soon. But 5.7, we will be getting our characters back in the world to vet, and I'm so dang happy with that. But now we move to even more happening. Overflowing abundance is here too. So, talents double drops. They're back. So if you need talent drops, those are coming in as well. More happening as well is the new Envision. You get a cape. For Raiden and Shenhe, you get a cape. That's it. Cool. And yes, there's new TGP cards and updates. Not like characters are being dropped, and there's going to be a couple more updates coming in as well for the card game. And now, the new system optimizations. For mobile users, this is very, very cool. You will now have a choice to update. It takes a lot of storage to play Genshin. I get that. But they're making a change to this. You can now have two choices. A basic resources and a full resources bar will appear for you to make that call. So if you don't have all that much storage and you can only really use the basic resources, you can still play Genshin while figuring out a little bit later on what you can take out of your storage. That's a very good call out of Genshin and the devs. And on top of that, if you have quests that you want to do, Genshin will ask you to download it via in-game, which means you don't have to back out and download the whole thing again. You can just download it in-game, it sounds like, which is very, very cool. So mobile users, the game is being way, way, way better for you in terms of storage. Now, in regards to resin, you may now use fragile resin when claiming any artifact or domain to collect your rewards. So if you have a ley line that you are going to use a fragile resin, you don't have to back out and click it. You could just claim the rewards using a fragile resin. That's a bit handy right there. Topping that, the Adventurer Handbooks is now giving us guide entries to 40 resin bosses. If you've never faced that boss before, you can see, hey, here's the weaknesses, here's how you could beat it. And it's organized by the order the bosses were unlocked. So kind of nifty there. And a Spiral Abyss update. You can clear away your parties with a click of a button and claim challenge rewards at the end of floor 12. If you sweep on through the Spiral Abyss challenge, you get to claim 800 plus primogems just right on the spot, right there at the end of floor 12, which is very, very good. And topping all of that was a Nod Cry teaser with Alice, Varka, and the Fatui mentioned. And the very end, it said, quote, "The story is about to begin," end quote, which is crazy to think that is being said when we are almost 5 years into Genshin. Yes, I'm late, but 5 years of Genshin Impact is actually crazy. But that is 5.7, the live stream, all wrapped up in a huge reaction. And my reaction is, the hype might have gone down a little bit. Skirk looks incredible. Skirk, absolutely incredible. Archon Crest looks pretty good. The events seemed a little lackluster in my eyes, but still, I'm excited for Genshin in 5.7. My hype would be around a 7.3, 7.1-ish out of 10, because 5.6 knocked it out of the park. And I'll do a reaction at the end of the 5.6 program, so stick around for that. But 300 Primogems, you get an extra code on top of that as well for Samora. And 5.7 does look really good. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, you know what to do. Click the button on the left. Comment down below. Does Skirk look crazy? Are you going for Skirk? Are you going for Dahlia? Are you saving up for potentially a secret drop coming in 5.8, maybe 5.9? Comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have an absolutely epic day. Enjoy your brand new Primogems, and thank you so much for watching. Oh man, what a crazy one. I'm out. Peace. 5.7. Man, I hope it's going to be a crazy one.